谢谢，谢谢 Brian。接下来我们掌声欢迎 Fred 帮我们介绍 GNOME 在教育界的发展。
Thank you, Brian. Actually, I think it's a great opportunity to see people deeply involved in open source, free and open source software every once in a while, because it reminds, at least for me it works that way, it reminds you why you're doing what you're doing, and it helps to clarify doubts you can be about how a project is working, how it's organized, what their aim, and sometimes mailing lists and websites is a bit cold and far away from where you are. So I think it's great that Brian came to Asia. I think it's a big success. We got all cheated by Emilia actually 3 years ago after Guadec, who pushed us to organize GNOME.Asia. So here we are now. I have to say I'm a sponsored speaker as well. The GNOME Foundation is paying for my travel to come here. They also paid last year. They didn't have to pay in Beijing because I was living in Beijing. So I'm going to talk about GNOME in education. And something that we are doing in China, in mainland. I think this is a big subject, big topic. Education is a big topic. Free software in education is also a big topic. And GNOME is as well a big topic. So as Brian was mentioning, Sugar is using GNOME technology. I am not familiar with Sugar. I don't use Sugar in China. So I will not cover that part. You have to understand that what I'm saying is just what works for us in China with the school we work with. There are many ways to do the same thing. So it's not something to take as a Bible. It's more something from somebody with one experience somewhere. And maybe you can pick some of these, but maybe some will not work for you. Okay, so why? Well, the first question is why should children have computers? Why? Actually, they've been learning with books, and it's been working fine so far. I think one of the reasons is that IT and IT has a very very big scope, is used everywhere in professional life, even in homes, in your private life, in mobile phones, so since school is supposed to prepare children for their life to come, obviously you need to prepare them to use IT, web technology, desktop technology, mobile phone technology, to make them understand the danger of the internet, what is privacy, what they have to be aware of, what they have to be careful of, how to use a computer, how to use it as a tool, how to use it as an expression medium. There are really, really a lot of things to teach children about computers. And you can, I was forgetting the simulation part. You can also use computer in a classroom to access to things that a class doesn't have, like an electronic microscope, like some physical experiment where you can't get the device or the machine in the classroom because it's too big or it's too expensive. There are really a lot of things, a lot of reasons why you could use computers as a simulation tool as well. So now this slide is about what you can do with a computer. Well, some of the things you can do with a computer. I put this slide because I want to remind people IT is not Microsoft Office plus a bit of Visual Basic. I don't know if we have any teacher here, but in China I face this all the time. IT equal Word. Sometimes Excel, when you're lucky. And then when you're really not lucky, you have Visual Basic. So this is really this that you have to keep in mind when you talk with teachers. If you're interested to talk to teachers, you have to show them why it's important. It's really, it's a tough battle. So now why free software is important? I think there are really a lot of reasons, but education is something offered by your country to make your own people better. It's really a community service in some way. Free software is also a community service. You're building a software, how do you say that? A software pot, something that you can share among your community. So it really works in pair, actually. It has the same goal in some way. Though we were talking this morning with Brian, and we say, well, some, like private companies don't like the idea of people thinking too much. Some governments might not like the idea of people, being able to do what they want. But there's a lot of politics and conflicts with education and with free software. I think some of the reason is also the cost. Free software usually come with no licensing fee, which is not the case of proprietary software. Though private companies like Microsoft tend to give the software for free to schools, and then when you graduate, then you have to pay for it. It's a bit like drug dealers do that also. They give you the first shoot for free, and then after you need to pay. So the real question is why should we teach our kids using technology that belongs to a company, not using technology that belongs to the community itself? Some people can answer this question. I think there is no right answer for this. And by the way, here I left this. I think the answer is they care about shareholders. They don't care about you. Well, unless you're a shareholder, of course. Okay, so oh yeah, that's the second slide about forced education. Then this is, but I think we have a lot of GNOME user. So free software is really about the four freedom, using it the way you want, learning from it, so having access to the source code and being able to understand how software works. So enabling your student to also make software if they want, or make it do what they want. A bit like Legos, for example. Yes, you have a question? Oh no, I thought you, sorry. Sharing it with your students. Basically, if you have a class with using a particular software, you can actually give it to your kids and they can use it at home, which is something you're not supposed to do with proprietary software neither. And also sharing the improved version, which means that the school, a district, a region can actually build on free software, make a customized version of something they like, that they need for their school, maybe their own language, maybe, and give it to their children. Just to tell you an idea, for example, in Cambodia, Microsoft Windows is quite a popular operating system. Well, they think Cambodia is a too small market. So there is no Microsoft Windows version in Cambodian language. Well, Linux is available in Cambodian because it's free software, so the community was able to translate it, localize, and they can distribute it. So in fact, if you're Cambodian and you don't speak or read English, you have free software, luckily. Because if you were waiting for Microsoft, I think you can wait another 5 or 10 years before you have your own language on your computer. That's just an example. And the other important thing, I think free software covers a lot of fields, and they are all free software. And also you have a lot more, I guess you've heard, open hardware project that extend the idea of free software to hardware devices, to empower people to build stuff based on other stuff that have been built already. So you can really, I guess you're familiar with the RepRap project, which is a 3D printer, so you can print objects. And the printer is supposed to replicate itself, so basically with a 3D printer you can print another printer and give it to people. Well, the cost is still about, I think it's about $300, $400 US. But all these things are possible thanks to free software. And I think they belong to education, because you can teach children to understand how also physical object works, how mechanical stuff works, how electronic works, how software works. It's really giving them tool for their professional life later, rather than just buy. Okay, so GNOME, there is a GNOME education suite. I think the project, I was starting to have a discussion actually with the GNOME Foundation about the status of the project. There is 20 applications. I think there is a bit more than that. But basically today, using GTK libraries, you can do early age computing. So this is covered by J'ai Compris, which is an application for children from 2 to 10-year-old. It covers typing, discovering the mouse, so being familiar with the computer. Covers math, some basic science, electricity, understanding nature, winds, sea. So you really have already a lot of application just with one application. Then you have touch typing. Touch typing is how to type correctly, not with just one finger. Music, you have exam management for teachers. You have several applications to learn foreign languages. Some programming, memorizing, mapping. I think there is also word processing, because you'll have teachers who want to do, to prepare secretaries. So it's very important to have that for them. And you have, I found a few more actually last night. So I think the page is going to modify. I was talking with Stormy. I'd like to maybe get the project a bit more formalized. I don't want to compete with Sugar, but I think we can put up something, maybe do a meta package so people can get the things. I also believe, and that's part of our approach. I also believe that bringing force to education is more than just giving a few software. Yeah, but you need, well, exactly. Anyway, you need a lot more. So Greenboard is the name of the project that we manage in China. We believe it's better to start from the start. So start from the start is to start at primary school or secondary school. Well, I've been involved in free software in China for a few years. We work a lot with the Chinese government. And today, the Chinese government is trying to push free software at the university level. I think this is too late, actually. The kids already have bad habits. Teachers have no idea what is free software. So you're trying to convince 16, 18, 20-year-old people who have teachers who have no idea what free software is and who couldn't care less. So and this is a time where exams are really important. Actually, they don't have so much spare time. So there's really a conflict of interest to get students to start to use free software, especially if they've been trained using proprietary software. So it's better to start earlier. We can find also GNOME, in GNOME application, everything we need. And I've been talking about that. We focus on not only doing secretary job, we rather focus on self-expression, so teaching drawing application, which is good for this age. Typing is good. Learning basic words of English. We're talking about China, so English is quite popular. Everybody would like to speak English. and we come to school with a yearly plan, or half a year, 6 months at least. So when we talk to teachers, we have something to show. It's not like, okay, use this software and good luck. It's more, okay, this is the methodology, this is the classes that we have, this is what you're going to teach, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 10, so they know where they're going. The way we set up the class or the different elements from our project, basically we donate the PCs, or almost donate. We get them from where we had companies pay for classes. We've had embassies or company giving us old machines that we refurbish